we got 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds having babies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you fast forward all those two little recipes together, fast forward that up to our present time right now. What are we seeing? We are seeing young parents still trying to be out in the street having parties and having fun. All right. Our grandparents, we are 40 years old as grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
40 years old as grandparents.
Definitely.
Okay. There's no foundation of educating the family line. And look at our grandparents. We don't our grandparents is almost not existence no more. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have like those 70, 80-year-old grandparents no more. They almost not even in existence. The oldest
Definitely.
person in my family right now is 72 years old. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. That's
Definitely.
crazy. And we're losing the generational alignment that was guiding us, in the family realm. Because there was the grandfather, there was the grandmoms, then you have the fathers, and we had that generational line, and we don't have it no more. So our kids are running out here free and they're in survival mode hard. So
Definitely.
when they're in that survival mode, that's where you get the gunplay.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get the robberies. That's where you get all the stuff. It's been there, but not at the magnitude of our young generation that we seeing today. And what we're seeing today is that our young generation are out there on their own. They have no guidance. You can't even talk to them no more. They will pull a gun out on you in a heartbeat. Because this is the world that they're in right now.
Definitely.
And I love and this is why in that matter, bro, is why I say we have to put out in their face. This is why we're not behind doors. We have a building, but all our events is out in the streets, right? Directly in the hoods, directly in it. Because everybody do everything outside of this, but they don't come in no more because they're afraid, number one.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid to come in. And two, it's very important that we do address the families, not just the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because I experienced this myself, bro, when talking here in the class and they talking about, enslavement and the Africans and I'm sitting here saying, well, if I'm an adult right here standing in the same room, I can imagine what these kids are thinking.
Definitely.
Not
But
one time,
the
not one
kids are
time, bro.
thinking what the adults are not telling them now. So that's their first time hearing it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so it's I'm not gonna sit and say I have the answers to it, but what I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
is that, bro, you are 100% correct. It's our in-house is broken. And I mean, I always say, man, we in great danger. We in great danger
I mean, it's
because
a cycle of delusion, to be honest. Like
hmm
now we're the parents, right?
hmm
Because
hmm
I used to talk to my grandmother all the time. We thought that teen pregnancy was bad at our age. And we
mm,
think now it's bad. No, when they were young, they were breeded to have kids. She
right,
was having kids. Her friends was having kids at 12. So
right,
we think it's worse now, but it's actually better now. Because at some point they weren't even being educated. The women weren't even being, they weren't even being looked at as a perennial part of the family. They were
hmm
just breeded to have children. So
hmm
when you look at everything from like if you step back outside of generations and just see what's progressing and what's actually still the issue, then you're
hmm
able to see things a lot clearer. Like even the idea of family. Like we need to separate again, defining terms. Relatives is blood.
hmm
Relatives is blood. We don't have things in common with some of our relatives, which is okay.
absolutely,
Which is okay. Like they want to do this person wants to do this because we haven't built a relationship. We just have blood in line together. Why can't your village be your friends? We believe friends are the most important relationship you could have because
absolutely,
those are the people you pick. Those are the people you choose. So when you're raising your kids, instead of raising your kids with your family, which you don't always believe in the things that they're doing, because the family dynamic is a little more individualistic. because your brother wants to do this, your other brother wants to do this. Everybody has a different, it's not, the way it's governed is not the same as when you now start hanging out with your crew.
Mm-hmm.
Your crew is governed different.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has similarities. Everybody has more likeness. You're not hearing a bunch of people talking about, well, we're different. We're different. We're different. No, everybody's working for things in common,
Mm-hmm.
for common goals. So when you're coming together to work for common goals. So when we're talking about the community as a whole, I think what's being passed down constantly is this idea of family, and people are being stifled within the family because they have to honor a family goal that they didn't sign up for, versus now figuring out how can we now promote positivity and having everybody unite and doing what they want. I'm not saying your family's not still your family, but let's be honest. You're older now. Shay's older now. Who's your closest people?
No, and you're 100%. So what I'm gonna say is that you were, I think for the first time, even when Sha said it earlier today, we've been friends. We don't even call each other friends. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's my sister. You
Yeah,
understand
it's
what
a
I'm saying?
different family dynamic.
Like, and you 100% correct, because that's exactly what I'm saying. In the organization, it's we don't, first of all, we don't run on the systematic lines of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because why would we run under that systematic guideline, and that's the same systematic system that enslaved us? So why would
Definitely.
we operate in that?
Definitely.
So that's why what I'm saying about the village, right? The village is our home. The village
Definitely.
is in anybody, and we say this, like I said, unapologetic. Anybody of color comes into this village. If you are not of color, you are an ally, and we make sure that you understand that you are not going to stand in front of us. You're going to stand beside us, or you don't
Definitely.
stand at all.
Definitely.
And we make that very clear.
Definitely.
So because in our village, it's not all bloodline. It's not. Our village is several bloodlines that has come together though, and
Definitely.
and and
Definitely.
and, and we
And
create the
created
village.
one blood and created one bloodline.
One block, and that's it.
So
That's
you
it.
understand that there's something that supersedes the subcultures that we create. And y'all actually have skin in common, blood in common. And I mean, and when you get a little more, when you expand it a little more, you get to see like 90% of us is poor.
Mm-hmm.
So you even get to see something greater, because now if we now battle skin, complexion, blood, like we start battling that, it becomes a smaller discussion. But when
Mm-hmm.
you really look at it, when people need to come together, it's 90% poor people. And if we
Absolutely.
all took care of one another, whether we was a different complexion, whatever, it would change the whole game.
I
So when you
yeah.
look at the village mentality, you have to sometimes expect